Hello, I'm Shaylyn, and I'm going to be talking about memes today. So, a meme, as defined by Merriam-Webster, is an idea, behavior, style, or usage that spread from person to person within a culture, and is also defined as an amusing or interesting item, such as a captioned picture or video, or genre of items, that is spread widely online, especially through social media. I would add that it's also something that's often humorous and that uses context to get to some bigger idea that is relatable to the viewer or the intended audience. So memes can be looked at using Saussurian concepts. Meme is a sign. It's composed of a signifier, which would be the physical meme itself, whether that's a picture or a video or with the caption, and then the signified, which is the idea that this meme is attempting to get at. How this differs from signs in language is that signs in language are often arbitrary, meaning something like the word tree, there's nothing inherent about the word tree that would make us assign it to the plant. Yet memes are usually iconic or indexical. Iconic meaning that they can be taken at face value and they explicitly convey the content. Or they're indexical, meaning that the signified signals something other than the actual signifier, but it's something closely related, and it usually just takes a little bit of inference for this interpretation. Also in alignment with Saussurian concepts, the way you construct a meme can be looked at much the way you construct a language in a syntagmatic or paradigmatic way. So syntagmatically, once you choose a visual or once you choose a caption, it narrows down the options that you have to pair with it. But at the same time, when looking at it paradigmatically, yes, it narrows down, but you have this entire category of associated or related concepts that you can choose from and that you can swap out for each other. So for an example, I have a meme here, which is the dog in the burning house saying, "This is fine." So once you choose a visual like that, there's an entire category of associated concepts that you could caption there. But how they're all associated is that they're ironic in the sense that you're using sarcasm. It would be things that is not actually fine. So maybe when I check my bank account after buying textbooks, or when your parents call during finals week and ask how things are going. So also, back to the definition of a meme, social media plays a large role in the existence and the dispersion of memes throughout society. So all the interviewers highlighted a specific frame about meme communication via social media such as Twitter or Facebook, and how it differs from regular social media etiquette. There's a specific way, kind of meme etiquette, in the sense that when somebody comments on your profile picture or on your wall, you might feel obligated to respond by commenting or liking it, whereas most people that I interviewed said this was unnecessary for memes. Yes, some people like when they're tagged in a meme to acknowledge that they saw it, but there isn't this expectation that you need to respond or that you would be rude not to. One of my interviewees in particular brought up how this frame is changing for Facebook. Now, when you like or comment or are tagged in a meme, it pops up in your friend's newsfeed. And Facebook being usually the social media that you share with family, this can create some issues. So if you don't want your grandmother to see that you commented on a meme about smoking weed on 420, you might now have to refrain from doing so. So this means that there's been an introduction of a filter in the Facebook meme frame, but also that there's been ways to get around these obstacles that have arisen as a result. So for example, private meme groups have become popular. This same interviewee is part of a group called By Trade Memes Electric Boogaloo, and basically she can comment on inappropriate memes and not have to worry about family seeing it because only the people that are in this private group can see that she commented on it. It's also important to note here the power of a tag on a meme and its indexicality. So when you tag somebody in it, there are assumptions and implications that go along with this tag, in the sense that people who are seeing this tag are assuming that either the person doing the tagging or the one who is tagged somehow relates or experienced what this meme is talking about. And so this can be good or bad. So I have an example of a meme here. We all have that one friend that tries to turn us into an alcoholic. And so if you were to see that somebody was tagged in this, you would assume that either the person who's doing the tagging is the one that's always, trying to turn their friends into an alcoholic, or that the person that is tagged is. Whether this is accurate or not is kind of irrelevant because that's what the assumption is when people see it. Also discussed with my interviewers were the stipulations for who you would send a meme to. So in all cases, the informal nature of a meme came up. So most people would not send a meme to a boss because it is seen as too informal and therefore unprofessional. Most people I was interviewing thought it was comical that I was doing a presentation on memes in an academic setting because of their informal nature. But it's also important to note how they're content and context specific. So although you might have a group of friends that you would feel comfortable sending a meme to, there might be certain memes that you would send to certain people. So one of my interviewees in particular, she's an avid memer and she's really into biology, so she loves biology memes, yet she would only send them to maybe her friends in her classes that would understand them and appreciate them. So she brought up one of her favorite ones in the interview. I don't understand it, and therefore I don't find it funny. And this highlights Agar's idea of situations. He himself said that different words signal a different mentality, a different way of looking at things, and connected this to Malinowski's idea of context and how important that is to understand a speech act. So although Saussure writes a circle around language and would write a circle around memes, had he existed today, it's important to break this and to look at the context that it's in. And once you do so, you realize that there is pre-existing knowledge or experience that is necessary to understand a meme. So grandparents might not understand memes about college. People who don't watch Game of Thrones might not understand a meme that uses content from the show to convey some sort of idea. And also related to Agar's idea of situations, came up in a lot of the interviews that I had, was a GW meme group the intended audience is current GW students. So a lot of, basically the memes are the memes that went viral in society, in the nation, and the world, and they are adjusted to apply specifically to GW topics. So people who do not go to GW might not understand some of the jokes, and even Dr. Dent, who's a professor at GW, might not understand some of them because he doesn't have some of the experiences, the student experiences that are necessary to understand these memes. So one of the common topics that I felt was applicable would be about gallery mozzarella sticks. Most people watching this probably understand the joke and people's obsessions with it, yet a professor or somebody who doesn't go to GW would have no idea what gallery mozzarella sticks are and the joke about them. And so it just highlights the synchronic nature also, because even GW students who graduated 5 years ago and say gallery wasn't in existence, or students who are going to be attending GW in 5 years and gallery is gone by then, won't understand the significance of the joke. So ultimately, memes are an important addition to cell phone communication. Although they're closely tied to Saussurean concepts, they must be analyzed in a frame of context to fully grasp the meaning of one. So who was it intended for? When was this made? What is the meme trying to signal? It is only after considering all these aspects of a speech act that one can confidently say that they understand a meme. Thank you.